So I've been in my flop era, guys. We're just gonna cut right to the chase. I have been in this perpetual state of flopping for honestly longer than I'd like to admit, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed that I just haven't been on the same wavelength that I used to be on with creating in general. I wanted to have a heart-to-heart chat with you guys about feeling lost in social media, content creation, almost at a loss with my identity, my career. I really wanted to just open up this conversation about being in your flop era in general because I have been going through this for a while and I just didn't know how to approach it when it came to making videos anymore. Obviously you could tell that I've definitely lost traction. My channel has been very stagnant, even decreasing, and that has also taken like a huge mental toll on me. As time went on, like I definitely have accepted it and tried not to be so hard on myself, but I really wanted to share all of this with you guys and do a little painting where I don't have to be so hard on myself because it's just a freaking hobby or just like a little activity for fun. My favorite color right now is purple, so we're gonna do something with purple. Sorry to you, Kelsey and Denna, but I'm gonna be using your holiday card as my paint holder thingy-mabobber. I feel like I stress myself out by having these super high expectations for my videos, which results in me not even being able to post anything because I'm just judging it so hard. We are all our harshest critic, and I always try to remind myself that. Somehow I still don't get across the stuff that I want to when I'm creating a video, and I end up just not loving it. Striving for perfection is like one of the worst things to do because you end up not doing anything or accomplishing anything. I just think it's crazy how sometimes I will try to make videos and try to get past my need for making perfect videos that are interesting, captivating, yet I'll like have it set in my mind already that it's just not going to be a good video, that I'm gonna hate how it turns out already. So I already go in there with like a bad mindset about it, and I think that's attributed to the fact that my YouTube channel has been flopping. I'm not gonna lie, having your channel like pop off at a young age or like, you know, actually make money from it and have a lot of support, it feels really nice to get that validation. I think that makes it harder for me to even create videos in the first place because I just feel like no one's really watching and no one really cares. I think it's weird because I know that you're supposed to do it for yourself, yet I'm over here just like questioning my existence. Just kidding, you know what I mean? Just questioning why I'm even doing it in the first place. It's such like a toxic mindset to be in because we're not supposed to care about the views. The thing is, I have never sought validation before, but like when it comes to something like YouTube, it's very numbers driven and that's kind of like a measure of success. So I think just the lack of success on YouTube has made me question what I was creating and who I even was, and it just like led me into this deep abyss of confusion. And I wanted to let this like go into the whole concept of the lifestyle niche. There's so much I can talk about with social media, and this niche is one of them. It's a very unique phenomenon. We are out here just creating videos about our lives. You could think it's strange, but you could also think it's like normal. And I always grew up thinking it was super normal. And let me know if any of you guys are content creators and trying to grow and you feel like this. I feel like making videos in this niche sometimes can feel trivial because you're like talking about your own life and sometimes it feels a little pointless. But I think that's just the existential in me because as a kid I honestly did not ever think about this. I had so much fun just like being off in my own world, but I think as time goes on, you get older, it just becomes more prominent, a prominent thought in my mind. And what I mean by that is that when you get older, I feel like you just think a lot more deeply about things and you aren't just focused on narrating your life story to people anymore. It's like, I want to provide value to you guys rather than just make these casual, nonchalant vlogs about college and stuff. So I think it's that aspect of wanting to provide more value but feeling like I couldn't because it's not like I'm this super career-driven person that's going to be giving you guys tips on interviewing and all that stuff because I personally was lost as well. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do and I still don't really know what I want to do. So I feel like in a way that's how it felt trivial because I personally just didn't have my own mission statement. That makes me overthink a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. But I feel like this flop era, just being creatively uninspired, is redirecting me to figure out what type of content I actually want to create. And it's interesting because, as you saw, I did have like this return to YouTube 4 months ago or 5 months ago now, where I did my August monthly reset. And I've been seeing a lot of videos like that pop off. People like focusing on financial videos and work week vlogs and stuff like that. So I started to think like, okay, maybe this is gonna be it. This is gonna be my niche, guys. And I go really hard at it for a few months. And I was actually pretty excited about it because I felt like re-inspired and everything felt like it was falling into place. But then the videos just started flopping. And I think I hopped into that like thinking, oh, this is gonna be it. But I ended up realizing that niche wasn't really my vibe. And trust me, I still love talking about finance, and there are things I do want to share with you guys, things that I'm learning in my 20s and what I'm trying to learn with like finances and budgeting and investing especially. By the way, I'm just like making a pink gradient here, and I'm gonna fade it into purple. I wanted to say that being in a flop era, it is like a necessary part of life. Even though I'm not out of my flop era, I can understand and realize this. After the biggest flop comes the biggest slay. I technically see this period of time as just like a learning time, and even though you want to be making progress as much as you can, I am not beating myself up about it like I used to, and I think that's the most important part. There's like so many analogies for this. Writers are not always writing. They need to take breaks with creating too. It's not like you can just keep going on this hamster wheel of writing amazing stories all the time. So I'm looking at this period of time for myself as like a recharge, re-inspiration era. There's a lot of eras going on. It's always the best way to explain it, so I'm always using that. With the whole idea of redirecting me to what I actually want to create, I just feel more drawn to talk about topics that I actually really care about more. I personally don't want to be in this repetitive cycle of creating content that I don't find super valuable. And not to say that I will never do a week in my life again. I just want to be able to incorporate other topics that are meaningful to me. So literally no judgment for anyone who does like that type of content, because I still like that content and do consume it, and I love to see what people are up to. So I'm just trying to figure out myself in that regard, my identity. I feel like people could end up thinking like, if you're having such a hard time with YouTube or creating videos, then like, why are you even doing it anymore? Like, maybe it's just a sign that you should give it up. But I realized that creating videos has always been something that brought me so much joy, and I literally I would be able to get into that flow state. If you haven't heard of a flow state, it's basically just like when you are so focused and excited about something that it makes you just like forget about everything because you're just so focused on that task at hand. It's just where you are feeling like most creative and most inspired. And that's how I would be when I was filming before, and when I would be editing, I would just have so much fun with the whole process. I think it's fun having a form of self-expression. I want to say that if you're feeling like you're in a flop era, it's literally okay to be bad at things sometimes. Even with me creating videos, because I've been out of touch with it for so long, it's like normal for me to not be feeling like really good at it anymore. I don't think it needs to be like great right off the bat. So I'm trying to remind myself that as well as I continue on in life, whether that be with YouTube, but also in other aspects of my life with my career. I know that I can be successful in my career, but just like that jump start of like trying to find another job, learning what I like and what I don't like, that doesn't just happen right away. Again, it's all just like a learning process, and applying to jobs, it takes time and it takes trial and error. You're gonna have some shitty interviews, but like the first step is just getting yourself back out there. Whether you need that time to recharge and feel inspired again to do that thing, whether it is job hunt or start a new project or hobby, the key is to just start again and keep trying, because that's the only way you're ever gonna get better. A book that I am starting right now is Atomic Habits, and just seeing how good habits over time compound makes me more inspired to work on other things in my life, because I don't need to just like be so hard on myself. I can trust the process as long as I'm making these small improvements every day. Even if I backtrack some days or don't get something done, it's not like it's gonna ruin my entire trajectory. But the last thing that I want to talk about was stuff that makes me feel better when I am in this flop era. Because there are little things that you can do, like little daily habits that just make you feel more confident in yourself, and things that I've been learning that make me feel better. So even if I am feeling like a flop in other areas of my life, like there are things that are like my lifeline and keeping me afloat. And I heard this good analogy, but like mental health is a table and the legs are fitness, exercise, diet, social needs, and like improving your mind, something like that. I can't remember what all four legs were, but it's so true, because your mental health will be so much more stable if you are keeping all of those four legs in check. And I've already been noticing this change within myself, because I have been trying to rebuild my healthy habits, and this is going to be a video of stuff that I am doing to improve my lifestyle habits, and I've already seen a drastic difference in my mood just by working out a few times a week, and I'm just trying to get back into it with all that stuff, because I know that mentally it makes me feel better, and physically obviously. Whenever I feel like I'm in a flop era, I tend to just like neglect my mental health and my fitness and stuff, and that in turn just makes me feel worse. So it's very counterintuitive, but I feel like it's not uncommon to end up like falling into bad habits when you're feeling not as well off. So if you're feeling floppy, there are little things that you can still do every day that will build your own confidence in yourself. And I hear from a lot of people on podcasts that building self-confidence is by keeping promises that you make to yourself. So this is the gradient. It's not really a gradient because obviously you still see like a huge difference between the pink and purple, but my goal with this painting is to not be hard on myself, like I said, so I'm just kind of going with the flow. But I think it's good to have like little hobbies that you can do where you don't actually have to be that good at it. Now this is what the gradient looks like. It looks a lot better, I'm pretty sure. But now I'm gonna use some white. I'm gonna try to do some little stars and moons and stuff. The intense focus. You know you're intensely focusing when you're pursing your lips. Now I'm gonna do some little shadows of trees right here because I feel like I love making trees and they're really easy to make, and hopefully it's not gonna ruin my painting. Okay guys, I finished my work of art. Here we have it. This is the final artwork. I don't know what the heck happened to this pine tree over here. It definitely got butchered. I went against the way that I typically do pine trees, which is just like doing triangles on top of each other, because I thought like, oh, let me try this. And no, it really failed. I'm still proud of it, and I think it's kind of cute. I really like this color scheme. I'm such a huge fan of purple and pink and blue. There's no blue in this, but like, I think this encapsulated my vibe because I also really love the mountains. I used to be like the biggest beach gal, but now I just really appreciate, maybe it's like you appreciate what you don't have or something. I grew up like loving to go to the beach, and we'd always go to Santa Cruz and stuff. I think I'm gonna be a lot more okay with where I'm at after posting this video and just kind of explaining where my head's been at this whole time, because I never actually made a full video explaining like everything going on with why I've been so wishy-washy with YouTube. But I feel like this was good for me to kind of get off my chest for any of you guys who are still here and still watching, because I know there aren't that many of my actual subscribers seeing my videos or deciding to click on them, but it felt really good just to do this little activity and do it for my own pleasure. Hope you enjoyed getting to hang out together. I had fun. Let's do this again sometime. If you're in your flop era, you are not alone. I have a lot of other things I'm trying to do today, so I'm gonna go, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to filming the next one. Bye.